Hello, welcome back, my fellow magic junkies, to Fluffy Flamingos. It's so good to be back and teach you guys some new material. I hope you guys are gonna like this episode. When I first started this Season 5 project, I kept racking my brain and asking myself two questions. One, what would make this worthwhile? And two, why should my audience stick around for the 5th season? So what I came up with was extending the time frame of our Season 5. So it'll be 30 episodes instead of 24. And the other thing that I did was I just came up with a massive list of things that I think magicians should know. Massive list that will accumulate a good magician within 30 episodes. Something that is more than beginner and probably a little over intermediate as well. So that you can start breaking the ice into advanced things. We started off Season 5 with a good start, my everyday carry. I wanted to make the point of what I carry around, someone who has done shows and has gotten money out of this. What is something that the audience looks for? What kind of tricks do I utilize? How to utilize pocket space. We also finished Silent Minds, which really showed you the importance and the power of impromptu magic. Things that can happen on a whim. Anytime, anywhere, as we've spoken 100 times on this channel at this point. Talked about party pleasers, that was a good episode. Street magic with family members or friends. We've gone over 2 different episodes of color changes, and we've done a lot of tricks that have just basic moves that eventually accumulate and propel you forward with one more move that's a little bit harder and one more move that's a little bit harder. Right now we're in a phase of semi-intermediacy. I don't know if that's a word, but we're gonna do it. We've also done a lot of card unboxings to show you what kind of equipment is out there, what kind of companies exist. A magician is only as good as his knowledge, and your knowledge on companies and resources, which we will talk about in a future episode, is also extremely valuable. I wanted to teach a plethora of things in Season 5, so that way you as an audience member can have a wide variety of material and be well prepared for these situations. Show you what kind of styles even exist. Seance magic, probably haven't even heard of that before, but we've done some seance magic on here, and if you like that style, you know that's what you want to do. You can narrow down what style fits you. So today marks the first episode where the magic is going to get a little bit harder, and it's going to kind of stay at this level for the rest of the series. The tricks starting after today will be varying in difficulty, but will start staying at this mark from now on. So if you want some more advanced, risky material, it starts today, and I hope you guys enjoy what we have to show you. One that's going to be really hard is our next episode. We're going to be talking about confidence and how to be charismatic when you're doing shows. How to be a people person. How to get over your fear of talking to someone. Of introducing yourself. We've also got a fun but tricky card to pocket routine coming up. A ghost effect that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. There's a lot to look forward to, and I hope that this season is going to be as rewarding as I designed it to be. I hope you guys find it rewarding. So without further ado, let's ask the question. What are we learning today? What is this hard magic? What is this sleight that's going to kind of boost our knowledge? We're going to be talking about hiding cards like a professional. So it's not just about hiding, it's about stealing, making things disappear, reappear. We're going to be going over the Tenkai Palm and the Gambler's Cop. These are 2 kind of palms that you can do to do what I just mentioned. Disappear, reappear, things of that nature. And we'll talk about each individually and what you can do to utilize these things. What purposes do these sleights have? Okay, so I think a good place to start is the Tenkai Palm, because it is a little bit less hard than the Gambler's Cop. These things will need practice. These are both pretty intermediate card sleights. What makes them so difficult is that it's supposed to be extremely secret. They're not supposed to know where the card is going or where it came from. It's all about eye lines, which we've talked about previously on this channel, making sure that everything's lined up so they don't see behind the scenes. So today we're going to be using the Cherry Casino V1s, and I'm pretty excited, so I say let's just hop in, show you what they look like, and then how we can do them. All right, so let's crack these guys open. Let's talk about the sleights we're working with today. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the Tenkai Palm. So this is typically a vanish, but there's a lot of applications you can use the Tenkai for, okay? So that's essentially what it looks like as the vanish. You can use it for a bunch of other things like a transpo. Okay? This isn't supposed to be like the most mind-blowing thing, but it is pretty important, especially if we want to learn something cool like the Bertram change, which we have covered on this channel. If you guys are interested, just click the link. Okay, so Tenkai, pretty simple. If you guys ever want to trick your dog or your cat or whatever pet you have at home, just use Tenkai.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Where is it? Oh, you found it. Good boy. You found Ingmar. Who's my good boy? Yeah, you are a good boy. Who's my good boy? Yes, you are. Booty bump. Alright, get out of here.
So the way that this works, as you guys probably just saw in that clip I inserted, all we're really doing is curling inward and using our thumb to grab the card and put pressure on it. And that's essentially the Tenkai palm. This is pretty difficult. I'll show you what it looks like with my left hand because I never do it with my left hand, but it's not the most difficult thing ever. And that's why I wanted to start off with Tenkai, because there's some flaws with my left hand for sure. So first thing is that it's not very quick. I can do it pretty quick with my right hand. My left hand, it needs some work for sure. The other thing is that when you do the Tenkai, you don't want to leave your thumb out and then make your thumb disappear as well, okay? You want to make sure your thumb is pretty, like, hidden. It can be a little plucked out if you like, but then when you do the vanish, it doesn't look like your thumb has moved too much. My left hand, probably not so much. Yeah, my left hand is not even, like, used to covering the thumb up. That feels super unnatural, okay? So the other thing is that when you're curling inward, you want to make sure that it's lining up with your palm, the line right here, okay? And then when you pluck your thumb onto it, it's a perfect line between your thumb and your palm. And with your hand at the right angle, it's just gone. You want to keep your fingers kind of stretched out, but you don't want it to be like, oh, look at my fingers, there's nothing, okay? Which is kind of what my left hand is doing naturally. So without any practice, that's what it looks like. It's pretty bad. So we'll cover that one more time. So let's start off with where we're pinching the card. So it's about center, a little bit to the bottom, okay? Just like that. It's a little bit underneath the center. And what you're doing is you're pinching it between your middle finger and your index finger, okay? So that goes right here. And if you turn it to the side and curl your fingers in, it'll naturally line up with your palm, okay? Just like that. And you can go in and out of Tenkai pretty easy. So just curl those fingers in, pinch with your thumb, and then let go. And that is Tenkai. Pretty simple. Now let's move on to the next effect. This is one of those things that is not going to look good on camera. This is very much a people thing. So you're going to 100% catch me, and that's totally fine. But with Tenkai, what's really important is misdirection, right? Giving them a second to not look at your hand is really important. So what you can do is just look like you're throwing the card. And if they follow your eye line, they're not going to really notice the sleight that you just did. So even if they follow your eyesight and you're looking like where you toss the card, they're not going to really notice the sleight that you just did. And then a good way to just drop it off is just dropping it onto the deck and calling it good. So with the Gambler's Cop, a really good way to misdirect them from stealing the card is giving them the deck, right? And I stole a card off. So Gambler's Cop, for the most part, is stealing a card off the bottom of the deck as you give them the deck. And you can have them shuffle or whatever. And I'm palming it right now, but you can't really tell because of the angle of my hand, okay? So if I'm holding it at my side like this, no one can see because the eye line is just perfect for the side of my hand, okay? So let's talk about Gambler's Cop a little bit more in depth. We are practically stealing or loading a card in or out of the deck, okay? So without the deck in front of it, you were kind of just lining up the card onto your palm and middle finger and keeping kind of a straight line. And that is Gambler's Cop. So let's get a little bit closer view. It's on my first joint of my middle finger, and then on that fleshy part, that hill of my palm. And that's a Gambler's Cop right there. So how do we get into a Gambler's Cop pretty naturally? Well, you would have the spectator pick a card, let's say it's the Ace of Spades, and you will just basically control that to the bottom in whatever fashion that you would like. Okay, so there's our card on the bottom. And what you're going to do is you're going to load it onto your hand exactly like you were going to do a Gambler's Cop. Okay, but then from here, you're going to push the deck forward and keep your card behind. So when you go to give them the deck, you just do a wrist kill, right? So there you go. Take the deck. You can shuffle that if you'd like, and you already have their card. So what you'll do is you'll just go behind you at the same moment that you give them the deck, okay? So he's like, can you shuffle that for me? Your hand goes behind and it dumps it into your back pocket. So altogether, you take their card, you shuffle it in wherever you would like, and control it to the bottom. Okay, here we are. And at this point, you'll put it into the Gambler's Cop position, scoot the deck forward, and then give him the deck, wrist kill, put it in your pocket. And that is the Gambler's Cop. So if you wanted, you could load the card into Gambler's Cop, and then when they give you the deck back, you say, okay, perfect, let's take the deck, and you just loaded it back into the bottom, right? So that's what the reverse of this would be, is having it in Gambler's Cop, they give you the deck back, and you say, oh, perfect, let's put it in the back, right? Let's put it on bottom. So what are some of the uses of the Gambler's Cop? For Tenkai, as we discussed, you could do a transposition, right, and make it teleport. But for Gambler's Cop, this is mostly for making a card disappear or reappear into a deck of cards. So Chris Ramsey's Red Pill utilizes the Gambler's Cop quite a bit. Daniel Madison is also a very big fan of the Gambler's Cop, and a lot of his routines use Gambler's Cop as well. So I did teach a trick years ago on a Halloween video that makes a card disappear from the deck and reappear folded up in your shoe. And that also would utilize a Gambler's Cop. If you guys want to use that tutorial to kind of find a trick for the Gambler's Cop to utilize it, go ahead and click the link and check it out. I think you guys would like it a lot, and it's a very useful trick to utilize the Gambler's Cop with. And that is it. That is the Tenkai Palm and the Gambler's Cop. So I hope you guys liked that, and let's get back to up here. Alright guys, that was it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun teaching this for you guys. I feel like every episode I'm putting out is just dreadful because I'm just that much closer to the end of this project. I've loved this thing since day one, and I'm praying that you guys are finding value in all of this. So just practice as much as you can. Tenkai, Gambler's Cop, everything else that we've taught on this channel. Just keep doing it until you get it. If any of my videos are confusing, then just comment below and ask questions, and I'll always be available. There's very few comments I haven't replied to, and those comments are just hateful comments, so that's why I don't reply to those. You guys, my prized pupils, I'm so proud of you for coming this far, watching this episode, and even attempting to learn something this intermediate, this difficult. There are certainly things that I need to work on hella, like my diagonal palm shift is garbage. It needs a lot of work. I can't do a pirouette very well. I actually really suck at spinning cards on my fingers. I still, for the last 5 years, cannot do a consistent classic force, which is really sad. That's one of those things that I wish I could do all the time. But it takes a lot of practice, and I haven't given up, and I hope that you guys won't either. I've been your host, Oliver, as always. Love you guys so much. I hope this was a fun episode for you, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Fluffy Flamingos. Peace.